In the quiet hours of the night, as the world drifts into sleep, a silent storm is sweeping through the veins of our most trusted machines, the older laptops that have carried us through countless deadlines, creative epics, and personal milestones. A new firmware glitch, discovered only days ago, is quietly, yet relentlessly, snapping the lifelines of these rapidly aging devices, forcing them to crash in the middle of critical tasks, leaving users scrambling to retrieve lost data and restore the flow of their lives. The severity is not just a technical inconvenience. It's a personal catastrophe that can shatter productivity and erode confidence in technology. This week, the clock is ticking, and the number of affected devices is growing by the minute, with reports pouring in from every corner of the globe. The stakes have never been higher, and the need for an immediate, decisive solution is urgent, more urgent than the next software update or the latest smartphone release that promises to bring the future to our fingertips. We are standing at the crossroads of technology and calamity, and the path forward is clear. We must act now to rescue the very machines that have been our lifelines for XP, Vista, and beyond. Firmware, the silent architect that orchestrates the harmonious dance between hardware and software, is the backbone of every laptop's functionality. It is the low-level code that breathes life into the processor, directs the memory, manages power, and ensures that every peripheral button and port operates in perfect synchrony. Think of firmware as the invisible conductor in a grand orchestra, guiding the instruments to play in unison, allowing the laptop to perform flawlessly. For decades, firmware updates have been the unsung heroes, quietly patching the smallest cracks in the system's bones, extending the lifespan of machines that have already served their prime. This week, however, a new firmware update released by a major manufacturer has introduced a critical flaw that destabilizes the very heart of these older laptops. The glitch, which seems innocuous at first glance, triggers a cascade of errors that culminate in iPubwissm. When the glitch takes hold, the affected laptops do not simply display a blinking cursor or a harmless error message. Instead, the machines experience a sudden, unpredictable shutdown, a complete loss of power, or a forced restart that leaves the user cleaning on a blank screen as if the device has been ripped from the fabric of reality. In the midst of a Word document, a code compilation, or a video conference, the laptop vanishes, leaving behind a trail of frustration and potential data loss. The symptoms are as dramatic as a thunderstorm: sudden blackouts, erratic behavior, and the dreaded blue screen of death that appears without warning. The glitch does not discriminate. It can strike at any moment, whether the laptop is idle or under heavy load, turning a quiet afternoon of work into a frantic scramble to recover lost files and salvage precious hours. The emotional toll of this glitch is profound. For many users, these older laptops are not just tools, but lifelines, the very instruments of their careers, education, and personal lives. Think of the student who has spent a semester compiling a research paper, the freelancer who has a client presentation scheduled at 3 p.m., or the retiree who has a family video call lined up. The sudden loss of a working machine disrupted their plans, leaving them feeling helpless and frustrated. The panic that grips them when the screen goes black is not just about the inconvenience, it's about the loss of trust and the sudden realization that the technology they once relied upon is now a ticking time bomb. In a world where time is currency, every minute lost to a crash is a minute paw of opportunity missed, a project delayed, a deadline missed, and a sense of control slipping away. This glitch is not just a technical problem, it is a personal crisis that affects the everyday lives of thousands. The laptops most at risk are those that have been in service for over a decade, running operating systems such as Windows XP, Windows 7, and even early versions of Windows 10. Models from brands like Dell Latitude, HP EliteBook, Lenovo ThinkPad, and older Asus and Acer machines have all reported crashes following the recent firmware update. Users of the Dell Latitude 5000 series, for example, have seen their laptops shutting down unexpectedly while working on critical code, while HP EliteBook owners report sudden restarts that wipe unsaved documents from memory. The Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon, a staple in many business environments, has also been flagged in multiple user forums. The common thread? These machines share a hardware architecture that the new firmware update does not fully support, leading to catastrophic failures. The widespread nature of the problem means that from the bustling offices of the corporate world to the quiet study rooms of students, the glitch is leaving a trail of shattered productivity. Why are older laptops so vulnerable to this glitch? The answer lies in the evolution of firmware design and the hardware changes that have taken place over the years. Firmware updates are crafted to align with new hardware specifications, performance optimizations, and security patches. Over time, newer firmware has been designed to take advantage of the latest processors, memory architectures, and power management features. Older laptops, however, were built with different hardware constraints and operating logic. The new firmware assumes certain capabilities, such as advanced power management modes, newer BIOS interfaces, and specific CPU instructions, that older models simply do not possess. When the firmware attempts to access or configure these non-existent features, it triggers a conflict that results in a crash. The older firmware code, once a paragon of stability, is now a rogue element in a system that is no longer compatible, creating a perfect storm of instability. In essence, the glitch is a case of backward incompatibility where progress has inadvertently turned the past into a liability. The discovery of the glitch has been a whirlwind of frantic communication between tech support teams, users, and the manufacturer. In early Monday morning hours, a user in the Midwest reported a sudden laptop crash while working on a critical financial report. Within hours, similar reports flooded the manufacturer's support forums from users across North America, Europe, and Asia. The technical team quickly identified a pattern. The crashes occurred only after the latest firmware update was installed, and they were predominantly associated with older laptop models. By Thursday, the manufacturer issued a public statement acknowledging the issue and expressing apologies. By Friday, a patch was in development, but the timeline was uncertain, leaving many users in limbo. The urgency is palpable as the company works to reverse the damage, while simultaneously protecting newer models from similar vulnerabilities. The timeline of the glitch's discovery, from initial reports to official acknowledgement, has been a brutal reminder of how quickly a single line of code can ripple through thousands of devices, causing widespread disruption. Data from user reports and internal diagnostics paint a stark picture of the crash frequency. As of this week, over 120,000 users have reported at least one crash following the firmware update. In many cases, the crashes were not isolated incidents but repeated failures, with laptops shutting down multiple times in a single day. The number of affected laptops is growing by approximately 3,000 to 5,000 per day as more users begin to notice the issue and report it. The severity indices from the manufacturer's internal tracking indicate that for the exporter, 60% of the crashes resulted in data loss or corruption, 20% led to hardware damage, such as a failed power button, and 15% caused the device to become completely unresponsive. The remaining 5% were isolated incidents that resolved themselves after a reboot. These numbers are not just statistics. They are a testament to the scale of the problem and the urgent need for a comprehensive fix. As more data pours in, the picture becomes clearer. The glitch is deeply entrenched and requires a multifaceted solution that goes beyond a simple patch. The manufacturer's response has been a mix of swift acknowledgement, transparent communication, and a phased approach to resolution. In their first statement, beyond the apology, they promised a detailed investigation and a clear roadmap for users. They created a dedicated support portal where users can track the status of the fix, download the latest firmware, and access troubleshooting guides. The support team has also deployed a temporary rollback firmware that restores the laptop to its previous stable state, giving users a stopgap while the full fix is developed. The company has released a series of updates that address specific hardware incompatibilities, particularly in the BIOS and power management modules. They have also announced a partnership with a leading cybersecurity firm to conduct a thorough audit of the firmware to prevent future incidents. While these measures are steps in the right direction, the company recognizes that the fix is not yet complete, and they urge users to remain vigilant, back up their data, and avoid installing the latest firmware until a safe version is released. The manufacturer's approach reflects a balance between accountability and the need to protect both current and future users from similar vulnerabilities. For those who need a practical solution immediately, the manufacturer has provided a step-by-step guide to roll back the firmware and apply the currently available patch. First, users must ensure that their laptop is fully charged or connected to a reliable power source, as the HTTP process requires full power to avoid interruption. Next, they should download the rollback firmware from the official support portal. This firmware will revert the system to the last known stable version, effectively removing the problematic code. After backing up all essential data onto an external drive or cloud storage, users must reboot their laptop in BIOS setup mode, which can be accessed by pressing the appropriate key, often F2, F10, or delete, during startup. Once in BIOS, they should navigate to the firmware update section and select the downloaded rollback file. The system will prompt for confirmation and proceed with the update. After completion, users should reboot their laptop and verify that the firmware version matches the stable release. Following this, they can proceed to the next step, installing the latest patch released by the manufacturer. This patch is specifically designed to correct the hardware incompatibilities that caused the crashes. It is essential to follow the manufacturer's instructions precisely, as any deviation could trigger further instability. The process, though technical, is straightforward and can restore the laptop's stability within minutes, provided users have a clear understanding of BIOS navigation and firmware installation. For those who find the firmware rollback and patch process daunting, or for users who prefer a more immediate, hardware-level solution, there are alternative options. One such approach involves upgrading the laptop's internal components to more modern equivalents that are fully compatible with the new firmware. Replacing the motherboard, for example, with a newer model that supports the latest BIOS features can eliminate the compatibility issues at their source. Another option is to install a new, compatible operating system that is designed to work with the existing hardware but does not rely on the problematic firmware. This approach, while more involved, can extend the life of older laptops without the risk of crashes. For users who cannot afford to upgrade hardware, the best solution is to invest in a reliable backup system, such as an external SSD, and to regularly sync data to this external source. This strategy ensures that even if the laptop crashes, data loss is minimized. Additionally, users can use virtualization software to run newer operating systems within a stable environment, effectively noise shielding the hardware from firmware incompatibilities. Each of these alternatives has its own trade-offs, but all aim to mitigate the risk of crashes, while preserving the functionality of older laptops. In the midst of this crisis, there is a silver lining: the manufacturer's proactive stance and the communal support network of tech enthusiasts and professionals. Users are encouraged to share their experiences, solutions, and troubleshooting tips on official forums and social media channels. The manufacturer has opened a dedicated hotline for urgent inquiries, staffed by engineers who understand the technical nuances of the glitch. They have also released a series of detailed FAQs that address common concerns, such as how to check firmware versions, how to back up data safely, and what to do if the rollback fails. For those who need immediate assistance, the support team offers a live chat feature that provides real-time guidance. Additionally, the manufacturer has pledged to release a comprehensive post-mortem report detailing the root cause, the steps taken to resolve the issue, and preventive measures for future firmware releases. This transparency is a crucial step in rebuilding trust and ensuring that the community feels heard and supported. The collective effort of users, manufacturers, and tech communities is a testament to the resilience of the tech ecosystem in the face of unexpected setbacks. Now is the time to act. If you own an older laptop, you need to check your firmware version immediately. By navigating to your BIOS settings or using the manufacturer's diagnostic tool, you can determine whether your device is running the problematic firmware. If you are at risk, download the rollback firmware from the official support portal, back up your data, and follow the step-by-step .scala instructions to restore stability. If you prefer a more permanent fix, consider upgrading your hardware or switching to a new operating system that is compatible with your current firmware. If you have already experienced a crash, do not panic. Save your NAT files to an external drive, restart your laptop, and check for any available firmware updates that address the issue. The manufacturer's support team is ready to help. You can reach out through their hotline or live chat for personalized assistance. Every minute you wait is a minute your data could be at risk, so act now and secure your device before the glitch spreads further. The window to fix this glitch is closing fast, and the only way to protect your work, your memories, and your peace of mind is to take decisive action today. The urgency cannot be overstated. Your laptop's future depends on the licensing decisions you make right now. As we close this urgent briefing, let us remember that technology is both a blessing and fragile tool that requires stewardship. The new firmware glitch that is crashing older laptops this week is a stark reminder that progress can have unintended consequences, and that vigilance, backups, and timely action are the best defenses against unforeseen failures. The manufacturer's response, while commendable, is only the first step in a longer journey toward ensuring the reliability and safety of our devices. We urge every user with an older laptop to heed this warning, take immediate steps to protect their data, and stay informed through official channels. In the end, the resilience of our community, the dedication of support teams, and the willingness to act swiftly will determine whether we can emerge from this glitch unscathed. The clock is ticking, the firmware glitch is relentless, and the only choice you have is to act now to preserve the devices that have carried us through countless moments in our lives. This is not just a call to fix software, it is a call to safeguard our digital lives, one firmware update at a time. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and let us all ensure that the machines that power our world remain stable, reliable, and safe. The time for action is now, and the consequence of inaction is a world of rolly data loss and lost trust in the technology we depend upon. Let's fix it together, with courage, clarity, and a commitment to the future of our digital existence. The future is waiting, and it is up to us to protect it, one firmware fix at a time. The urgency is real, the stakes are high, and the path forward is clear. Act now, or risk being left behind in a world that moves ever faster than the old machines can. However, I refuse to be left behind. By acting now, we can reclaim our longevity and ensure that our laptops continue to serve us, not crash us. It is time to fix the glitch, to restore our faith, and to secure our digital future. With these words, I leave you with a reminder that a single firmware update can shape the next decade of our lives, so choose wisely, act decisively, and let us move forward together, unbroken and undeterred. The journey begins with a single click, and the future unfolds with every choice we make. Let us choose the future we want, and let us fix the glitch, because the time to act is now, and the time to wait is too late. The future is ours to shape, and together we can ensure that our laptops, our data, and our lives remain safe, stable, and secure for the years ahead. The choice is yours, and the power is in your hands. Secure your future, fix the glitch, and let us build a future that is resilient, reliable, and ready for whatever comes next. Let us act, let us fix, and let us move forward into a future that is brighter, safer, and more reliable than ever before. The time is now, and the stakes have never been higher. Let us choose the time, choose the action, and choose the future, because the world depends on it. And that, my friends, is the story of why we must act. Let's fix this glitch together. The future is bright, the future is ours, and the time to act is now. Let us do it.